Before changing the brake pads, check the brake fluid level on the brake fluid reservoir, because if it's above 3/4 or almost full, when we compress the pistons later, it might make the brake fluid reservoir overflow. So use a turkey baster to reduce the amount of fluid in the brake fluid reservoir. And if after changing the pads, the brake fluid level is low, we can always put it back. Unfortunately for this vehicle, for some reason, the hood release latch is broken, so I cannot check the brake fluid level right now. And as you can see, the hood release lever is missing. So I can't check under the hood right now to check the brake fluid level. Holding the brake piston in place are two 14mm bolts, but you only need to remove the 14mm bolt at the bottom because the top bolt will act as a swivel and you can raise the whole caliper piston up. So let's take out the 14mm bolt at the bottom. Use the 14mm socket and wrench to remove them. Now this is tight, so I'm gonna use a cheater bar to lever myself so I can remove the 14mm bolt. There you go. Now with the bolt out, you should be able to swivel the whole thing up. There you go. Now there's two spring pins holding the brake pads in place, so take out the two retainer pins. Now take out the brake pads. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old brake pads and the new brake pads. The old brake pad still has some life in it, but comparing it to the new one, you can see the new ones are very thick. Now, for reference, in case you didn't know, the brake pad with the brake wear indicator goes in the inner portion of the brake assembly. So make sure you don't install this in the outer region. And in addition, the new brake pads came with new metal brake guides. So let's remove the old brake guides and install the new ones. Now before installing the new brake guides, clean the brake brackets with a metal brush. Now install the new brake guides. Next, we're going to put some brake grease on the brake guides so that the brake moves in and out seamlessly. Sorry. Also put some on the brake ears. Again, remember that you have to put the brake pads with a wear indicator on the inner portion. Next, we're going to push in the brake piston. Using your old brake pad, put it in between the brake piston and the brake spreader. Now we can push it in with the brake spreader. And as you can see, it is going in. I don't want to push it all the way in because the brake fluid might overflow on the brake reservoir. And as you recall, we don't have access to the brake fluid reservoir due to the hood release not working. Now let's put back the retainer clips for the brake pads. Locate the hole and insert the retainer clips. Okay, with the new brake pads on, the one with the brake bearings in the inner portion, retainer clips are on top. Now let's put back down the brake piston. Now before putting back the brake bolt, put some tread locker on the treads to help it grip in place. It doesn't matter if you're using red or blue tread locker as long as you put some on it so that it doesn't vibrate out while you're driving. Start by hand threading the bolt to prevent it from cross threading. Now when it's tight enough, torque it to 25 foot-pounds. And you're done with this side. Let's do the other side. Okay, we're on the passenger side now, or on the right side of the vehicle. I already loosened this 14mm bolt because the camera was on the way, so I had to do it off camera. So use a 14mm socket and wrench to remove it. Now if I find anything interesting to mention, something that's out of the ordinary, I'm gonna point it out. But if not, just enjoy the ride. Alright, so this metal fitting seems to be locked in place, so I'm gonna use a wrench or my panel removal tool to help me take it off. Just be careful not to scratch your rotors because, as you know, we didn't replace the rotors. The owner of this vehicle told me that she doesn't think she needs one, so we're keeping the rotors. So here on my left is the old brake pads, and here on the right are the new brake pads. And don't forget, put the brake pad with a brake wear indicator in the inner portion. Now, again, use your old brake pads to press in the brake piston. And as you can see, the piston is going in smoothly. Now you don't have to put it all the way in. Double check with your brake pads, maybe it's enough. If not, then you can move it. See, and as you can see, it's not all the way in, but it fits with the brake pads. So put back the metal pins. Give me a second, I lost it. So again, put the metal clips on the holes on the brake pads. So last bolt, torque to 25 foot-pounds again. And that is how to replace the front brake pads for this 2003 Honda CRV. Thank you for watching.